Welcome to the Northeast Kingdom Voice. I'm your host, Scott Wheeler. Today's guest is Gwen Bailey Rowe from the Newport Career Center. Welcome to the show, Gwen.
Thank you, Scott.
Is this your first time on the TV show? I know you've been on my
Yes.
radio show.
Yes.
Do you like hiding behind a mic better, or do you like being out in front of everybody?
I think I prefer hiding,
Yeah, well.
but I will take this because I'm pleased that you want to help us promote our adult education programs.
I think I've told you this before, the Career Center as a whole is, I think, just one of the great resources of this area. And sometimes, as much as you guys try to reach out to people, I still don't think some people realize all you have to offer. Like, I think, maybe a year ago, several months ago, my wife and my daughter, my grown daughter, they learned how to make, was it Wiener Schnitzel?
Yes, I think we had Fritz from the Derby Line Village Inn, and we did, what did we do? We did strudels and we did schnitzels.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think she was just telling me that now it's a venison time with Fritz.
Right. We actually need some more students for that class. He's going to do a 2-night course. We've reduced the cost. We advertised it last fall. We didn't get enough people, so we've reduced the cost. We're hoping for more interest. He's going to help you butcher a leg of venison, marinate the leg one night, and then the next night you'll be cooking it and preparing it with Austrian side dishes.
So you don't have to actually go out and get your own deer.
No, it's called venison hunt to table, but you don't have to do the hunting part. And that actually starts January 25th, so not next Monday, but the Monday after. So if people are interested, we'd love to hear from them.
Right. So a little bit about you is you're no stranger to this area. You were a North Country grad.
I was.
And did you know anything about the Career Center when you were there? Because the Career Center was a bit different back then. Wasn't it kind of like you couldn't really distinguish the two?
Right. I think there's more flow now between the two schools as far as students accessing the Career Center that are college bound. I think maybe back in my day, the Career Center more had a stigma of, you go there if you don't think you're going to go to college so you can get some technical skills.
So you're in the adult component of the program, though.
Right.
So
Right.
what does that entail? How is that different than the Career Center itself?
So what we do is we look at what's available for the daytime, and we see what can we take from the daytime programs and offer them to adults in the community. So that can be challenging sometimes because there's dual enrollment credits attached to some of the daytime programs, a lot of in-depth curriculum, but with some we have been able to do it, like welding, for example. People come for a 30-hour class, and if their motivation is to be certified, and there's tons of welding certifications, but if their motivation is to get like one welding certificate, they might be ready to test for their D11, which is basically stick welding, when you're just taking two plates and you're joining them together with like an acceptable sturdy bead. So if the teacher thinks you're ready after your 30 hours, he will send your test plate down to Advanced Welding Institute in Burlington, and they may issue you a certification that's recognized.
Right. And I know our producer, Todd Pronto, his mother worked there in the Career Center, Brett Marsh.
Right, and Brett and I did talk a lot about if we could do something for adults as far as cosmetology, but that really is not very realistic because to get a certification in cosmetology, it's thousands of hours. And we could never really make that cost effective for adults. It's not impossible, but it's hard to imagine, I guess, what that would look like, versus people seem to want more of a course that costs less than $1,000 and will get them something that they can go to work with.
Right. Because a lot of times people think that you have to go to, for some reason, we've come a society that you think you have to go to college for 4 to 6 years, but trades, though, especially in rural America, you can make some very, very good money, especially you were mentioning welding's in high demand.
It is, yeah, and it's just because people are, retiring out of that field, and if we don't get the next generation of welders ready, there will be jobs that won't be filled.
So what other classes are you holding this fall?
Well, we kind of separate our classes into different categories. So job ready and career exploration, we try to give people a taste of some different hands-on learning opportunities like residential wiring. So we're not advertising that you will be able to rewire your house, but by the end of the course, hopefully you could, change a light, like, take one light fixture out and put a new light fixture in. Know what you could do yourself and when you need to call an electrician. We also have had students sign up that are interested in a career in electricity. So this might be the jump start they need to go to VTC and find out what it takes.
Right. Who are your typical students? Yeah, do they come from all age groups?
All age groups. Like if we take residential wiring, I could have 2 people that are over 50 that just putter around their house and want to understand electricity more, and then I could have 1 or 2 students from Northeast Kingdom Learning Services that want to work for Mike's Electric and need something on their resume to show that they're committed to this path.
Do you have to have a high school? Degree or anything? High school diploma?
Not at all. No, not even licensed nursing assistant. You do need to pass a standardized test for licensed nursing assistant, LNA, because we need to be able to recommend you for testing at the state level. And so we look for like a 9th grade reading and writing proficiency and a 9th grade math proficiency.
Right. And you were telling me before the show, you're kind of talking about nursing, you were kind of excited about a new program you have.
Right, yes. The state of Vermont Board of Nursing has now offered an endorsement for medication nursing assistant, which is something that exists in New Hampshire. So what this endorsement means is that an LNA who's worked for 4,000 hours as an LNA, 2,000 hours in long-term care, could be part of this program. And they would be able to distribute medications that normally would only have been able to be distributed by an LPN or an RN. So what this does is this empowers the LNA to be able to increase her scope of work, and it frees up the LPN RN to do more actual nursing care.
And from what we were talking about, this is probably going to really help the nursing homes, because the nursing homes really do struggle at finding people sometimes.
Right. They don't want a highly qualified RN to get stuck behind a medication cart. They want the RN to be with the patients doing the care. So this could be a great thing. Bel Air has really gotten on board with this, and they have recommended 5 students for us, and we have taken them through 60 hours of their classroom training, and right now they're in the middle of 40 hours of clinical training. So by the end of the month, we should be ready to recommend them for testing. And if that all goes to plan, they will be the first medication nursing assistants in the state of Vermont.
And you know what you ought to do is to promote this program, you ought to bring them on the show.
That would be exciting.
They can talk about what they have learned and what it's meant to them.
That would be great.
And maybe invite, her name is escaping me, the head of the Bel Air, Rosemary Mayhew. And you know what has it meant? Because I think these success stories, it's a win-win situation. It's going to help Rosemary, but it's also going to help the patients or the residents, and the people taking the test.
Right, and I haven't advertised this at all at this point. We just did this quietly because it was the first time. We went to Rosemary directly, asked her for recommendations. But the hope is that if we find success with this program and if Rosemary is pleased with the results, we will go to other area nursing homes and ask if they have candidates for this medication nursing assistant program.
So these were drawn from her current staff?
Right. These were LNAs on staff at Bel Air that Rosemary recommended for training.
So when it comes to any of these classes, how do you get financial aid to pay for them, or do you have to pay for them out of your pocket? What's the...
Little bit of both. So if you have a certain income eligibility, I'm not exactly sure what that is, you can go on vsac.org and you can apply to have the class fully funded, because VSAC has non-degree grants, and you're allowed 6 non-degree grants in your lifetime. So say you wanted to take welding, and welding is expensive. It has to be because of the materials. We usually price courses at $10 per course hour. So since it's 30 hours, the base price is $300, but we have to tack on extra for material costs because every night, like, a student will go through an amount of metal that we need to, cover the costs of. So if you wanted to take welding and you thought you might be income eligible, you could go to vsac.org, do the application, and upload your tax return from the previous year, and you might get the whole thing covered, the whole 600. But say you kind of knew that you weren't going to be income eligible, or you applied and were denied the grant. We have another grant from the state of Vermont where you can get 50% of your tuition covered. So what I had to do personally was I had to write the grant, and I included all classes that would help a person with employability skills.
Right. And when you talk about employability skills, I see another one, customer service and cash register training. That might not be like a high-end job, but there's going to be a lot more of them.
Right.
And customer service skills is a very important thing, being able to communicate with people.
Right, so that's an example of a course that we were asked to run by Vocational Rehabilitation and Creative Workforce Solutions and Department of Labor. They said, please, something for people that might potentially want to work in retail. Cash registers have changed so much over the years. They're not just a drawer and, some numbers. Right. They're a computer screen, and you touch it, and you have to go to different menus to complete.
And there's so much more to the job. I give the cash register people so much credit because I don't think I would survive a day. Not only because I wouldn't be able to do all the stuff they do, but they have to have incredible patience. And my wife started out that right in high school, and I think she would tell you she's a far better person now that she's a professional because of the tolerance she learned at being a cash register operator.
Right, and Roger Carty, the person who teaches this class for us, spent, I don't want to say exactly, but at least 30 years teaching, and a lot of his curriculum was customer service, so that's what he's bringing to the course as well.
Right. Then I see another one that I always say I should take this someday. Is I don't know if it's intro, but French.
Oh,
I
French.
think it's so. I think it's really so. It's too bad that so many of us who even grew up here on the border. I have people on both sides of the border. My grandmother spoke French, but she never taught her kids, and I just think that it's so great to live on the border and at least being able to understand what you're hearing.
Right. This course that we offer, Conversational French, you probably won't be able to fully integrate into French culture, but hopefully you can go to a restaurant, read a menu, order some food, do a bit of shopping, just kind of make your way through Quebec or France.
Right. I can, it's funny thing is I can go across the border and I can read signs. I have just my high school, probably freshman high school French. I can manage to read signs okay because I remember the key words, and there's enough English mixed in where I can kind of figure out what's going on.
Right.
So what other classes would you like to spotlight?
Let's see. We have such a variety. It really depends on what people are interested in. We have computer classes. The beginning and basic computer classes are specifically for people like probably my father, who doesn't even know how to turn on a computer.
You do know your father's a genius, though.
He doesn't know how to turn on a computer.
Really? Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that, being such a high-powered businessman that he was. He must have retired about the time.
He retired before.
Because now, I don't know if you've heard this before, but your father, Tom Bailey, is one of the smartest men I ever met, too.
Very kind of you.
But he doesn't know how to run a computer.
He can do what he needs to do as far as checking email and things like that, but really he just stays away. It's something that he was never needed to learn, never asked to learn, and it just kind of passed him by. So that's sort of the people that we see signing up for basic and beginning computers. People that maybe can run their cell phone, you know, they understand touch screens, but if they were to work in an office and interact with like Windows operating systems and, you know, Microsoft, they just feel very intimidated.
What make your to make your father and other people feel better is when I go, because I spend a lot of time with my other work going into nursing homes. I have people in their 90s now who go around with their iPads, and it's so funny that these people have been able to pick up this technology. They went from the horse and buggy days to going around with iPads, flipping through their photos.
Right, and we do have iPad basics as well, because we find that that's what some people want to do. They don't need to know how to turn on a big desktop computer. They just want to be able to look at what their grandchildren are posting on Facebook.
They might regret that.
Yeah, they might, but maybe they want to see share family photos of a trip or something like that. You know, people
Oh, so you have as basic as that. See, I think that's really a usable class too, because I run into people all the time because I use computers a lot. But a lot of people think I'm a lot smarter than I am because I only know how to use what I need to know. So if somebody gives me their phone and it's different than mine, it's like, you know.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to navigate. And for me, I use Microsoft Office software all day long, but if I sat down at the Microsoft Office class that we offer, I am sure I would learn some shortcuts, learn parts of the software I'd never explored. And that's another one. We're actually working on some industry-recognized certifications for Microsoft. I've been playing around with a program on Cengage where you actually take some online tests. So the idea would be that you would sit in the class and learn the material along with your classmates and have a teacher supporting you, but then you would also be offered a chance to do an online test for a certificate.
See, when my daughter was in high school, she managed to get over to the Career Center and she became certified in Office and everything, and even though she has her teaching degree, she works in a school system, but she works part-time for us, and all her technology has never left her. You know, that's the one thing good about education is, you know, once you have it, it can't be taken away.
I think so. Yeah.
But on the other hand, technology, it changes so fast.
It does,
too.
yeah. It's kind of a use it or lose it feeling with it as well.
Right. Now, what about walking you wanted to talk about?
Oh, right. So what we try to do, and this came to us as an idea, Beth Barnes came to the school, and she was working with the hospital at the time, I believe, and she said, you know, IROC's closed. We have people that need to get moving in the winter. They need to stretch their legs. It's not safe for the seniors outside on the icy sidewalks. So what I suggested was if we ran a walking trail through adult education, then it would be, you know, part of us and covered by our insurance, and, you know, that would be a good thing for everybody. So what we have done is I work with Pauline Gage. She covers 2 evenings a week. I cover 2 evenings a week. When we have classes and Pauline and I are present, people sign in at 5 or 5:30. They can sign in, and we have 2 routes around the Career Center. We have one upstairs that you can take the elevator up there and you never have to go up and down the stairs once. And you can walk in a loop that 10 laps equals a mile. If you'd like to use stairs, we have a loop that runs, I guess it would be east-west, around the Career Center that involves stairs at each side, and that one 8 laps equals a mile.
Right. Now I know they used to have at one time they used to have it walk-in also over at Newport Elementary. I'm not sure if they still do that there or not, but that was another, because my mother was big into walking, so there was a place to walk, she could find it. So that's so I didn't realize that there was only specific times then.
Well, we do advertise them with we have regulars. We had 9 people there last night. Obviously, we didn't walk during the holiday season. Our classes are just getting rolling again, so they're invited Monday and Thursday of this week, Tuesday and Thursday of next week, and then probably we'll be able to add more nights as our classes get going.
Kind of like mall walking that you see going on in the mall.
Right.
I wonder if Walmart will have, I wonder if they'll have Walmart walking.
Well, some people do probably just go to Price Chopper and do laps. I mean, that's what I was...
Well, you know what? If I go to Price Chopper just to find one thing, I've probably put on 2 miles because
Right.
trying to find anything in a big store is an all-day adventure for me.
Right.
So we only have, a little more than 5 minutes left. What more would you like to talk about?
Let's see. Well, I do want people to know that there's some classes that maybe are less traditional. Sometimes people approach me and they say, hey, I have a talent or an interest or an area of expertise, and I would like to be able to share that with people. So Diana Mara Henry, who you may have heard about, I don't know if she's been a guest of yours. She was a famous photographer in like the 70s during the women's movement. She has relocated to this area. And she came to me and said...
She sounds like a guest.
She sounds like a guest. She's an expert on a concentration camp in France. Like, she
really?
made it her passion to study this concentration camp. So, yeah, so we have time travel to a German concentration camp. So it's 8 hours to learn what Diana knows about this concentration camp. And we've had one student already come and sign up and say, I'm so drawn to that era in history, like I want to learn more. So, like how the Goodrich Library does these little workshops and presentations. It's sort of like the same idea, but you get to spend some serious, intimate time with Diana.
Well, that sounds like she sounds like a great class and a great great guest for my show.
She is.
We'll have to talk later about contact.
Right, definitely. And the same with Lynn Rubley. She's an artist who spent time doing mandalas, which are like some kind of wheel that are who you are. So it's more of a class where you would just explore your artistic side and come away with something that you could take home with you.
The one thing I think you've done it in the past is marketing. Haven't you done something with marketing? As in, like for example, I find this area, it's rich in ideas. People have great ideas for whether it's business or whether it's some kind of project event. But I find that, especially in the changing days of you have your internet, you have the newspaper, you have TV, people don't really necessarily know how to market themselves. And I find that to be, especially as we change and evolve, I think that's a really a big need for a class, is just how do you go about, because I've been in that world now for almost 3 decades, whether it's the news, when I was at the Chronicle, now as the publisher of the Journal, is I have seen that whole thing change tremendously. How you market yourself, how you market your business or your idea, and I find a lot of things fail here, not because of lack of a good idea, but people don't know how to market themselves.
Right. No, that's a good
And
one.
I'm not ready for being a teacher, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, Scott, like basically what it would take is me to sit down with the right person who could, teach a course like this, say, what topics do you think we should cover? How many hours do you think this will take? What's the right price for this course, so that we can get the people in here who want to take this.
Yeah, because I do think that is a need that as we begin to develop, because especially now what we're going to be there's going to be a lot of businesses now that are competing against retail giants too.
Right. No, it's a great idea, and that's the fun thing about my job is, people can come to me and say, hey, have you thought about this? And I can say, no, I haven't, but let's talk more. I don't say that's a bad idea. I just say I'm not sure. Let's explore this.
Right. Okay, so if somebody wants to sign up in a class for a class, or want to explore a class or talk to you, what do they do?
Well, we have people can sign up for our mailing list. As we talk about marketing, we still do an old-fashioned right to your mailbox brochure that will give you the classes every season that we run them. All the classes are on the North Country Career website.
And that is?
nc3ncsuvt.org. But you could just type in North Country Career Center on the search and get to our website, and then there's an adult education tab.
How about if they want to talk to somebody?
Oh, call us, definitely.
And the number is?
334-5469, extension 3309.
Right.
And this will all be running in the Chronicle, all the courses. It should have run probably the last 2 weeks. It should run another week or two. The Newport Daily Express is running the classes as well. So our number's there. Definitely give us a call. A lot of questions. People definitely call about what are you offering? What will the class be like? How will I pay for the class?
And sometimes it sounds to me like, you've teamed up with Bel Air to a degree. Do you have other businesses that team up with you to have classes?
We do. Let's see, Appalachian Flooring, had a need for Excel for their employees, so they sent some of their employees for that. We also do and this wouldn't be for probably the everyday person, but Allen Bradley technical training for programmable logic control systems. I know, it's a mouthful, and I pretty much understand what they are, but I could never teach the class. Basically, it's the idea that if you have like a manufacturing business and you start with this product and it runs through all these systems and something pops out at the end, you need a person who can troubleshoot that machine when it gets messed up somewhere over here. So we have a trainer in our mechatronics program at the high school, and Tivoli came to us this summer, and we did a training for about 6 employees there, and I actually need to talk about Appalachian Flooring. They might want to come in too.
And so do you look down the road, like for example, if when ANC Bio opens, or in the months leading up to it, will there be any communications between maybe the Learning Center and them for certain needs, or?
Well, that's worth exploring again. I feel like I maybe started asking those questions a little too early last year, and so maybe it is time to revisit that. We did try to do a green sweep program this summer, a cleaning program that would train people to be able to be janitors with specialty in green cleaning products. And we had 3 people take it. I'm not sure if people know what they need until they see the jobs in the paper. So sometimes it's hard to sell it to people like this is going to help you, because they don't see the numbers yet. They don't see the ads.
Oh, I know. Yeah, 'cause you have to have a little bit of vision out in front.
So we need to have vision, then we need to be able to sell that vision. But I don't want to sell something that I'm not sure about yet. And I don't feel totally confident that I have my head around what ANC Bio actually needs.
Okay. Final words.
Final words. Please call us. Stop by the office. We keep fairly regular hours during the school day. We're there evenings when classes are in session. Ask us questions, give us ideas. We're very excited to just grow our programs.
Oh, and there are people who don't know where the Career Center is.
Good point.
Explain where at the high school it is.
So it's attached to the high school. It's the newest and brightest wing of the high school, because the Career Center was renovated in 2008, 2009. So if you were to drive there, you would probably turn under the bridge as if you were going to the east side, and then head directly up the hill, and then swing around on Dutchess Avenue to Veterans Avenue. Yeah, we're right across from Prouty Beach.
Okay. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for your good works, because I do think your program does touch a lot of lives, and you might not know it now, but I think later on you will be hearing from people how much it meant to them.
Great. I really enjoyed doing this job.
Okay, thank you for coming on.
Okay, thank you, Scott.
And thank you for tuning in to another segment of the Northeast Kingdom Voice.